Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox restoration, and today we have a Jeep Cherokee that has been painted maybe more than once and is looking a bit sorry for itself. Even before the paint job, I don't believe it looked that great because them wheels really do not do it justice. The tow bar's a little bent, there's a bit of bodywork damage, and the window section does look rather scuffed up. But nothing that I can't handle, let's get on with it. And taking it off the turntable now for a closer look, the first thing you'll notice is them rubber band tyres that belong on a race car, nowhere near a four-wheel drive. The second thing might be that big red smudge of paint on the window. It shouldn't be too hard to remove if we do keep it. There's a Macau version. Everything seems to run smoothly enough on the inside, so there shouldn't be any major problems there. Might even be able to keep these wheels for a future project. And taking it apart now, put it in the handy little jeweler's vise. Securing it gently, making sure not to break them wing mirrors. And now drilling out the heads of the rivets. And a quick dust off of all the shavings. And now with the screwdriver to gently prise the base open. Now let's have a look inside. Just a little bit of surface rust on the suspension. Nothing too major. And the interior section looks okay. It's very basic, nothing to write home about, but clean enough and in good condition. The inside of the shell, however, seems to have paint on there, but I definitely drilled out the rivets, so I'm not sure how that got in there. Never mind. Now back into the vise and ready to drill out the posts with a 1.5mm drill bit, ready for the 2mm tap. And you can feel free to have a little laugh at me right now as you realise I've just drilled through the side of the post on the right hand side. Whoops. Anyway, moving swiftly on to the paint removal process, we've got the jar of boiling hot water, followed by the spoonful of caustic soda. Giving us that satisfying fizz. And a comforting slosh around, not really sure why. And after 10 minutes have passed, just another little comforting slosh around. Still no idea why. And out come the tongs to have a little fish around. Missed. Missed. Attaboy. Now tilt it sideways. Well done. And the paint seems to have come off the outside fairly easily. Inside, different story. And that's something like a Park Ranger logo. Not entirely sure what the first colour was, but it appears to have been yellow, green and red. Back in for a few more minutes. And let's dump the window section in just to see if it does anything for that roof. Probably won't reuse this section anyway. At this point I'm not entirely sure whether to leave it in there and risk the damage to the glass or deal with the paint problem. And checking it now, still not done a good enough job, so more boiling water, more caustic soda, and give it another 10 minutes to sit. And this is the result. It came out clean enough for my liking. And on with the rotary tool. It comes up quite nicely after a quick polish off with this, and all the leftover paint does come off actually quite easily. But moving on to the base section there, that's a different story. That black paint is a lot more stubborn. I'm not sure if that was factory or aftermarket, but it was very hard to remove. And here I am now just trying to remove some of that paint off the outside. There was a fingerprint on the main windscreen. The inside seems to have gone quite cloudy. That's maybe from the caustic soda. It might have been there beforehand. I do actually try removing some of that paint from the inside. I'm not entirely sure why that was there. I've got a funny feeling it might be as some sort of ghetto glue for holding the window section back in after the last repaint, but I unfortunately can't confirm that. So after it's had some 1500, 3000 and 5000 grit sandpaper, it's now getting a final polish with some Autosol. And it's around about this kind of point where I'm wondering whether it's actually worth cleaning up or not, as it's not coming out as clean as I would like it. Give it a final hand polish just in case, because I don't like to throw away anything original if I can get away with keeping it. But in this case it just really isn't worth it. So it's had its polish up now, just taking it away to get it cleaned up properly under the tap. And yeah, that's not how you would expect it to look after a polish. So definitely decided at this point to give up and just remake it. And moving on to a very shiny body shell, and now we're going to hit it up with a base coat of white gloss. And I forgot to mention, I did straighten out that rear section that was bent out of place, but unfortunately my camera wasn't recording at the time I did it, so I do apologise. And now that's 2 coats of gloss white, looking very shiny indeed. I'm very impressed with that result. And now going on with the gloss blue. I thought I'd try something a little bit different on this one, just go for a little 2-tone fade. I'm just winging it at this point. I have no plan in my mind. I'm just going with whatever looks good, and the colour looks very good. And right now I'm struggling to decide where the fade should end, but in the end I settle for just on top of the door. And I apologise now for the shift in white balance. My camera battery died and I only had a spare point and shoot on me at the time, and it was more important to get the shot than wait for the camera to charge. So anyway, that's the fade done, and now hitting it up with the gloss, and it looks fantastic. It looks even better in person than it does on this cheap crappy camera. And now coming in for a close-up, look at the gloss on that, and the fade, absolutely beautiful. So moving on to the window section, I have some 1mm thick clear polycarbonate. and just cutting out some rough sizes for the shapes of the windows. And that's the windows cut out, and now ready for the fitting, which is the part that scares me the most. There's two-part epoxy. It's very good stuff, but it is quite messy. Just dabbing it on very, very sparsely in the corners there and on the pillars. Making sure definitely not to use too much. Less is more. Yeah, you must admit I'm really good at lining up the shots here. I'm concentrating so hard I'm not looking at the point of where my camera's aiming. So completely disappear off screen here. So I'll sped that up for you so you don't have to watch nothing. And now, in with the windows. And there you go, that's how they look now, much better. Now just a recap of what it looked like originally: the shoddy paint job, the smudges of paint on the window section which is yellowed and cloudy, and the wheels are starting to make more sense now. I'm guessing these were not the original wheels that it came with, because it's clearly been opened before, judging by the paint on the inside of the vehicle. So I can't blame Matchbox for them wheels. But that's no longer an issue for the grand reveal. And there she is with her new Ford Raptor wheels. And I also off camera painted the base and detailed in the headlights, the grille, the mirrors, and a UK coloured rear number plate. I plan to do a decal for that in the future, but I'll do a separate video on decal printing and application. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you soon with another one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.